Richard Dawkins was speaking at Kennesaw State University, and he was asked a question about feminism and men's rights, and his answer is awesome.
First, you believe feminism makes a positive contribution conducive to an open and scientific environment. And then there's a question also asking for your thoughts on the men's rights movement. So let's kind of take both of those together on your thoughts on the contributions of feminism and then your thoughts on the men's rights movement.
Of course, feminism plays an enormously important role. Feminism, as I understand it, is the political drive towards the equality of women, so that women should not be discriminated against. Nobody should be discriminated against on grounds that don't merit discrimination. Yes, I mean, feminism is enormously important and is a political movement which deserves to be thoroughly well supported. I hardly knew there was. Is there a men's rights movement? I mean,
I tend to think it's in this country right now. It's a bit, or at least let's say at this campus, it's a bit timely right now.
Is it? Well, I know nothing about that, but I mean, if there is discrimination against men, then that's bad too. I don't know whether there is. I haven't heard of it.
I really like that answer because that was my answer when somebody first brought up men's rights to me. I was like, wait, come again? We need a movement? We need a movement. Oh, the boot of the female is on our throat, is on our neck. Actually, that sounds kind of hot. I just derailed this story before I even got started talking about it. No, but the boot of society is on the neck of the man so much that we just needed some sort of movement, a comprehensive, cohesive movement to fight back against this crazy discrimination that we're experiencing. So he's like, wait, that exists? I wasn't aware that was a thing, but okay. And it's interesting because we spoke about this earlier. Richard Dawkins has, in modern days, in recent days, he's kind of gotten some pushback against a lot of the things he says because a lot of progressives view him as a fundamentalist atheist and, he's too harsh and he's, they have all these minor little problems with him that I think are fairly silly in most cases. Maybe there's a few criticisms of him that are justified, but they always go too far and they distance themselves from him. Islam is another one. They say, he goes after Islam too much. He's an Islamophobe. So they've been against him a lot, but I bet that with his response here, he just won back some progressive brownie points where they won't hate him nearly as much because he's genuinely like, I didn't even know men's rights was a thing. Is that necessary? What is that? I don't even get it. So, and look, actually, I'm a little different than Dawkins on this issue because are there some things where men get screwed over? Sure. It's just that it's obvious that on the overwhelming majority of issues, not only are men not getting screwed over, they're really running the show and getting exactly what they want, and they're totally in control. But sure, so here are the few things where I think the men's rights people have a point. I would say that on the issue of divorce law and alimony, and on the division of wealth in those circumstances, I oftentimes think that they default to this 50-50 thing in many places, and that doesn't really make sense because oftentimes you have a man who owns the business and does the work and the wife who was married to him for 10 years or so or 5 years or whatever it happens to be, and then they get 50% of everything. And then also the courts usually assume that the man is going to continue to make whatever amount of money that he made that year and that he needs to pay alimony as if he's going to continue to make that amount of money. There was one story about an actor, I think his name is Dave Foley, where he was making a lot because he was on a sitcom, and the court said, like, you need to pay $400,000 or whatever it was to your wife every year from now until you die. And he was like, but I'm not going to be on the sitcom forever. Who knows what job I'll have after this? I might not even have a job after this. You kidding me? I'd go bankrupt immediately. And the judge was like, I don't care. That's how it's going to function. So sure, on that front, men oftentimes get screwed over. And also we should change those laws because as roles change in society, there's going to be a time when It might be the stay-at-home husband who fucks over the working wife like that, where the wife owns the business and makes all the money, and then the husband gets married to her for 5 years and then divorces her and tries to take half the shit. So just for the sake of rationality, we need to change those laws. But on that one, you could say the men's rights people have a point. And also, just to have some people fighting back against the silliness of a lot of modern feminists, like the feminists who got angry over this brilliant NASA scientist who pulled off this amazing feat, but they were mad that he was wearing a shirt that had cartoons of attractive women in skimpy clothes. Like, okay, if you're mad about that, you're just a silly person. Like, you're not high-minded. It's not intellectual of you to bring that up and to say, oh, the male patriarchy is destroying everything. Look at the cartoon shirt. No, that makes you look like a child. So it's nice to have some people fight back against it. And so those are the two things where I'd say, sure, men's rights people have a role to fight back against the silly, extreme modern feminists and to bring up that issue of alimony and divorce law and stuff. But outside of that, the men's rights people are profoundly silly. So let me give you a few examples of some arguments I've heard them make that just make me laugh. One is they say, well, men are disproportionately targeted during war, and they don't go after the women and the children. Yeah, because it's always the men who start the war and fight the war, so they go after the other men who are fighting back against them. I mean, there's no... To say it's like an unfair bias, so what do you want? You want people to start killing the people who didn't start the war? Kill the housewives? Kill the children? You think that would be in the true name of what equality is about? I mean, that's just a silly argument. It's a stupid argument. Men cause the problem, so other men feel the brunt of that. Is that even a word? Brunt? Blunt? No, blunt is weed. You get my point. And another one I heard is, well, men get raped more than women do because they get raped in jail. Yeah, that's true, but other men are raping them. And also, come on, when you walk around on a daily basis, if you're a man, you're not always worried about if another man is going to rape you in public, in society. If you're out walking at night, you're not afraid of that. Whereas a woman constantly in some areas, in some cities, if she's walking alone at night, it's, oh my God, I'm scared. Oh my God, I hope that I'm vulnerable out here. So, the rest of it is bullshit. The men's rights people have 2 points. The rest of it is just you're trying too hard and you're making shit up. I saw recently they made up some statistics about how men actually have the pay discrimination against them. Really? That's the argument you're going to make? Really? Okay. And the final thing I'll say is, in terms of the traditional definition of feminism, and you can look it up in any dictionary, look it up right on Google, according to that definition, I would say I'm a feminist, and I think everybody should be a feminist according to that definition. Because feminism, as somebody said it, I forget who it was, but it's a brilliant quote, feminism is the radical idea that women are equal to men. Yes, according to that definition, I am a feminist because I believe in equal protection under the law. I believe in not discriminating arbitrarily. I believe in equal pay for equal work. That's an area where traditional feminists still have a point, and they're right because women make 77 cents to the man's dollar. Even if you're talking about for the same work, it becomes women make 91 cents to a man's dollar, so there's still a 9-cent discrepancy, which is unacceptable because that adds up over time, and that's a problem. And also, traditional feminists still have a point about perceptual differences in society. How if you're a man and you have a lot of sex with a lot of different partners, you're a stud. But if you're a woman and you choose to do that and you do that, you're a slut. And you can be shamed. And society looks down upon you like you're somehow immoral. Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. In fact, if you look in nature, it's actually true that it's not only men that are polygamous, but women act the same way. I mean, it happens in a variety of different animal groups, including humans. So that's the breakdown right there. But, I mean, I guess you could say Richard Dawkins was taken aback, to say the least, by the fact that a men's rights movement exists.